Hey, welcome back. This is dkavanagh, and I'm working in my garage on my FZR 1000. It's been a couple years. I haven't posted anything about this project in a while. The last thing I was working on was the oil cooler lines that are right here. You can see here the new lines that I created using the old solid pieces, and I replaced the rubber line with a AN hose and some crimps, and I used this crimper that I bought, which is ostensibly for like AC lines, but I figured it would work pretty well for this, and in fact did work pretty well. These are aluminum crimps, and unfortunately it's maybe a little hard to see here, but they did crack. They're really not that substantial, but these are bone dry. I put a few hundred miles on the bike with these lines on there, and they work just fine. I've also, unrelated, replaced all of my radiator hoses with new Samco silicone hoses, and I just finished rebuilding this slave cylinder. I really wasn't getting good clutch feel, and I found out this was leaking. It was actually dripping brake fluid on the fairing, which was no good. And I finally fished through my brand new Hell line here to replace the original line, and this was full of brown sludge, so that was another thing I had to get done. So that was a good job done. So now let me show you. This is the original crimp that was cut off the hose. Someplace around here I've got some replacement hoses. I bought some other hoses that were just like the ones that were on the bike, just as a reference. But anyway, this is one of the original crimps that I cut off of it. It is definitely not aluminum. It is sturdy. It is steel. I bought a set of crimps that were, I think, made for AC hoses. They weren't really ideal for this. You can see this is a pretty thick material. These are aluminum. I tried them out first, and I wasn't real happy with the fit. So I ordered some crimps from maybe you call them ferrules, I'm not sure, from Russell. They call these crimps, I guess, collar crimps. Anyway, these are aluminum. This is what's on the bike right now. This is one that it failed, and I replaced it. I just tried not crimping quite as hard, but I don't really like that outcome. They're pretty thin. So it took me a while, but I got these stainless steel versions. You can see that it says SS right here, and these are the ones I'm going to be using right now. I'm going to take the lines off the bike. These should be really easy to remove. You can see I need an angle grinder for this, and basically you grind through this, and then you can twist with a big flat blade screwdriver and spread that apart. That's what I did here as well. This cracked one doesn't require nearly so much force to take apart, so I think I'll be able to like manhandle these and then get them to release pretty easily from here, since they're already cracked, or at least most of them are cracked. I think some of them didn't crack, and that's why I had some hope that they would be okay. So next I'll take these off the bike, and I'm gonna actually probably in this video give you some footage of some of that previous work, just so you kind of see what went into it. One of the reasons that I didn't put out a video about it, because I wasn't entirely happy with the result, and I had a lot of footage that was me just wrestling with getting the old ferrules off, or the old crimps, and I thought it wasn't entirely interesting. So I'll give you a quick summary of this, and probably do voiceover on the old video, and then I'll shoot some video of the process here and try not to belabor the point, because I think the outcome is what's most interesting. The process was slightly less interesting, so I'll see what I can edit this down to that looks good. Oh, but I also I also redid the garage. The floor is done. I have insulated and put up plywood on the outside walls. The ceiling really needs some help still, but you can see I've got a little cooler over there with some beverages. Still a work in progress. Got some artwork on the wall, just automotive and motorcycle artwork. Yeah, I'm trying to get more organized. Got a TIG welder. I'm in the process of getting that set up. But yeah, trying to get some work done, and I will bring you back once I get some more progress here on this hose. So here's where I discovered the leaking oil line. Initially I noticed it was dripping on the exhaust and I'd get a puff of smoke, but then I saw how it was transferring onto the coolant hose as well. So this is where I knew I had a problem and decided I could fix it myself. So this is how I ended up cutting the ferrules off. Just a cut-off disc, make a slot in there, and then wedge a screwdriver in there and pry the ferrule apart enough to pull it off the fitting. And it turned out the cut-off disc was also a perfect way to cut the AN lines because they have metal reinforcement. I had to replace the O-rings that were on the oil pan side of the lines. So here I'm taking the old ones out, trying to figure out what size I need. I bought an assortment because I've been buying assortments of things lately. I don't want to be without little things like this. And if I have an assortment of O-rings, then I don't need to go and buy custom ones for exorbitant prices. So anyhow, I've replaced the O-rings, and so the entire rubber parts of the line have been fixed. All right, so I have these lines that I've taken off the motorcycle, and I've taken off all the old ferrules, those aluminum ones that were pretty fragile. I just had to like crimp them a little bit with some vice grips, and they cracked nicely. Now I've got these stainless steel ones that I've put on in place, and they went on pretty easily. Now I have to go ahead and crimp them, so I've got to select what I think is the proper size here to put in the crimp tool, and I'll come right back to you with this. All right, so I have the ferrule or the crimp inside the tool, the crimper, and I'm applying pressure, and this should stop when it's reached maximum capacity. Basically, you'll see that these pieces touch and there's no more room to crimp, which is what I'm seeing now. And then I can take them apart, and with any luck we see a pretty good crimp. It does seem pretty solid. I can twist the hose a little bit, so I'm wondering if that's enough. I was able to twist it before, but essentially we don't have any movement on there. I can't pull it off. And there is, you look on these hose fittings, there is a little barb on the end. And so that's the part that gets engaged when you crimp this, so that the hose will not allow that barb to pull out. So I'm going to install this, see if I get the framing right. I'm going to set this up in the tool. Put the pin in, close the valve, start tightening this down. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go verify how this fits on the bike, and I'll be right back. And I try to leave very little sticking out on the other side, because what I want is the crimp to be made a little bit away from the end. All right, so let's tighten this up. I haven't tried to crimp the stainless steel crimp ends before, but they seem to work pretty well. Oh yeah, that's nice. Very sturdy looking. All right, so that's a completed hose. All right, on to the next one, and then I'll get them back on the bike. All right, so I have the washers, the crush washers that go onto the oil cooler fittings, and just need to soften these up so that they can be reused. So I'm going to heat them up with the torch. If you get them pretty hot, just have them hanging on a little bit of baling wire. There we go. Drop them in the oil, and job done. I wanted to conclude this video. I just took the bike around the neighborhood a little bit. I did that yesterday, and I let it idle for about, I don't know, about 10 minutes in the garage here, and it's not leaked a bit of fluid. So I think after having you replaced oil lines and clutch line, and rebuilt the clutch cylinder, and tightened up the coolant hoses because I had replaced those last year and they needed to be snugged up because the silicone had relaxed a little. I think that's all pretty good. Can't wait to get it on the road, and maybe this weekend, if the rain holds off a little bit, I'll get it out. But anyway, yeah, so I was hoping to be able to offer a service, since I bought the tooling and I've got extra extra crimps and dash 8 AN lines. I could certainly rebuild people's oil cooler lines for them. Be a lot cheaper than trying to find new ones. I don't even know if you can get the replacements. I don't know. I was thinking like it might be worth my time for like $50 for a set of lines. If you send me your old lines, I'll rebuild them. It'll take me the time to cut off the old ferrules, cut the new lines, and do the crimps and ship them back to you. Anyway, something to consider. Obviously, let me know if you're interested, and I'll leave my email in the video description. All right, thanks everybody, and hope to see you out on the road.